Welcome to the XR Remix Podcast. That is the official name. The Melanated Virtual Boys are back. I want to thank everyone who, whether you responded on the new Metaverse Mixtape YouTube channel or my channel where I originally posted this, the response has been overwhelming. It's really been very, very positive, and that is spurring us to continue to do this. So this will be a monthly podcast. It will be hosted on the Metaverse Mixtape YouTube channel moving forward. And there will be other ancillary content that comes to that channel. I know Sheila and I just did a Assassin's Creed Nexus Impressions video. You'll see some collaborations between maybe not the whole group, but a couple of us, some other friends that we have in the space, and that will go up on the channel as well. So thank you, everyone who reached out with just really wonderful comments. Really appreciate it. I'm live open mic. I'm just gonna go around the room and just kind of say hi to everybody. Sheila, how you doing?
What's good, Mike? Glad to be back. What's good with you, man?
Living, man. The grind never stops. JDun, Mr. Getting It Done, getting things done. How you doing?
Listen, man, I just want to have a moment of silence for the Melanated Virtual Boys. You know, no longer being the name of the podcast. I'm playing with you guys. What's good, everybody, man? Excited to be back with the fellas, man, to talk all this good stuff into also more in the depth of PCVR. We'll get into that at some point. At some point, we'll get
Shots
into that.
fired.
I'm not going to point the camera yet. We're not going to point the camera.
We already know who we pointing at Marty when you do. That's it. Let's just be honest. That's where this is headed.
Let's go.
Yes,
Yeah, Jay chose violence today. Marty, what's good, man?
Yes.
What's good, Mike? Welcome. Glad to be back, man. We back at it. Camera actually gonna work this time. You know, we not glitching now. Got a new cord. Shout out.
Yeah, buddy.
I got $5 cents
I'm
it
sad to
fails
be
in the
back,
first
man.
3 minutes. I got $5 cents.
Hey, man, I'm glad to be out of your $5. Let's get it.
Clay, what's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me back. I love doing this. If nothing else, than to catch up with these fine fellas on this call.
All right, so I think this will be a common question to start every pod. What are you playing right now? Clay, you just spoke, so start with you. What are you playing right now?
So just finished Genotype. It was a really strong showing, and I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, oh man, I really enjoyed this game. And I think, and you'll get me here, Mike, especially on the story narrative driven game front, where, you know, we could use more, and it kind of filled that hole a little bit for me. I'm also playing through Vertigo 2 right now, which is an epic journey of ridiculousness that I've enjoyed every single minute of. And I had the sweatiest, Michael's there on the stream, the sweatiest boss fight I've ever had in VR was this past weekend. My heart rate, I have a heart rate tracker on stream, 130 beats per minute. My resting heart rate's like a 50, so like that was a big deal for me. And it took me about an hour to beat that guy, and I'm so proud.
Oh, wow.
So after finishing Vertigo 2, we'll hop into hopefully Arizona Sunshine, and then I'll be doing a separate playthrough of Lawn, which I don't know what to expect, but we'll see what that looks like.
All right. So
Clay, didn't I see you playing Propagation too?
Propagation, yes. So if you've been tracking my YouTube, I've been uploading the VODs of what I've been doing on Switch. So you'll see a smattering of just random playthroughs. But Propagation, I love that game so much.
It's a great game.
So good. And I'm a huge horror fan too, so it's just like right up my alley. I just wish it was longer. But wow, what a showing.
And that ending, but that's a whole other rant. Marty, what you playing right now?
Yeah, I like the ending. You hated it. It's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine.
I'm not happy with it.
But
I like loose ends. Let
videos.
me imagine what's gonna happen. You know,
I have a whole reason why I don't think
I haven't played any VR games.
What?
Yeah, I've been playing anything, dog. Like I've been so busy, and obviously I'll tell you guys later off camera, but I've been busy, man. I've been busy.
You haven't played any This is where we put the record scratch sounds and be like, you haven't played any VR games.
I mean, because there's no PCVR games to play. But anyway,
wow,
man,
wow,
jeez, Louise,
work, family, gym. I've been busy. Just started to get back into content like this week. So you know,
I mean, the guy said he wants to be the most buff guy in VR. That's what
sounds like it.
Let's put that challenge.
Halfway there, man. Halfway there, man. I've been playing mostly my Steam Deck. It's all the time. Only thing I've been having time to play. So check out Steam Deck OLED. It's pretty nice. I like it. It's dope. So this has been like playing like Bomb Rush, Cyberpunk, a lot of other little small story games, little indies.
That's what's
about
up.
it.
Did you say Cyberpunk was a small indie? You didn't say that.
Oh, my fault. Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. It's a
okay,
like a skating game.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I didn't say that was my fault.
JDun, what you giving on right now?
Yeah.
Oh man. All right. So of course Assassin's Creed, we been playing through that a little bit, enjoying that. Just enjoying it for VR. Not even it's not even about the Quest platform or standalone. It's really just a AAA title coming to the Quest and coming into VR this way, what it means for VR as a whole. That's number one. But my love affair, me and Joy, have been Demio battles every single day. Okay? Demio battles is
That's
my
wild.
baby. Okay. It is my game of the year right now.
Wow.
Like it's got me in VR more than any game has gotten me in VR this entire year. And I don't even play it in virtual reality. I play it in mixed reality only. That, and surprisingly, the next one, I don't even know if we could talk about it right now. It's another resolution game, but it's I got access to Racket Club, and I can't talk too much about it, but I will say, God dang resolution! I'm pointing at you, resolution games. God dang it! All right, I'm just in awe of the things they're doing. I can't talk much about Racket Club right now, but I just really feel like we're finally beginning to get games. I feel like these games have been in I don't know. We'll talk about dev stories and things like that of how long games take to really manifest. But after playing Assassin's Creed, knowing it's been in the works for years, some of these other games been promoted for years and now finally coming out. I don't know. It's something about when these things bake properly, which is why I'm not too upset about games that's being delayed lately for the PCVR side as well as for Quest. I feel like that's the best thing overall for us to get the best quality for gaming. But we'll get into that. So that's the games I've been playing lately for sure.
I haven't really sat and played a full session of Demio, and I feel like I have to play a full session of Demio before I do Demio battles, even though I don't think that's true.
No, not at all.
So maybe I just need to just
Demio battles is a total different game, man. It is, and I'm telling you, it's so sticky. It sticks you like from the first battle. You be like, all right, I gotta go one more round. I gotta go again. It's like Lace, you gotta have one more.
So I don't really need to understand Demio.
There's a very good tutorial in
core,
it. There's a great tutorial.
A
great tutorial.
Yeah.
To do it.
I should reframe. I have played Demio. I just have never really won, and I wanted to feel like
Demio battles is a different game. Man. I'm telling you, it's a total different game.
All right.
Dun, I have a question for you about Demio battles. Right?
Let's go.
The little bit I played and lost in it. It's really cool, but I was having a hard time wrapping my head around the controlling the enemies that you don't, not the enemies, your troops that you don't really control. So they don't get it. I was having a tough time wrapping my brain around that, but still, really dope game nonetheless.
I'm gonna tell you right now, you can't control them. You can't control them in the way that you control.
Yeah.
But like, for instance, I can give you like an example. If I want a spider to attack a certain way, I can throw a web bomb at a certain area, and they're going to specifically look at that area because it's where it wants to pay attention. And depending on how I put the minions down, how I put these particular people down, like even the slimes, if you put them together, they can combine into one. It's like you can use them to your advantage. And in the very beginning, a lot of people don't know this, you can actually move them on the board a little bit to where you would want them to at least start. And that's the most important thing. I think for the longest, my strategy was separating and then kind of coming together. But now I just go all in, everybody's clumped together. That's right. Come for me. Come for me. Okay, that's what I'm saying. I want you to come for me. I want you to think that you're about to get me. It's really fun, man. The game is it's incredible. Yeah, we play every night. We're gonna play after this. So if y'all want to get your butt whooped, y'all come on in Demio battles. Look at open mic. Come on, let's go.
I'm curious. Quest Street's charged already.
Okay, let's do it. We can stop the podcast right now.
Get right into it.
We can just jump.
Be crazy.
We could just jump right into it now.
I like that.
That'd be funny if we just like spliced in gameplay.
Yes.
Honestly, I like that for a collab video for the two of you. Just record yourselves head to head and just splice it together. I mean, sounds like a great mixtape video. Just throwing it out there.
Hey, look at him. Look at him. Get it.
Hey, I'm thinking about branding at all times now, pretty much. Like, ooh, that's content. No, we ain't doing it now. That's content. We
Nice.
gotta record
Content.
that. Yeah.
Nice.
Ooh, piece of candy.
Everything's content.
Show, what are you playing right now, brother?
I mean, just like everybody else, Assassin's Creed. When I'm in VR, it's Assassin's Creed. When I'm not in VR, Street Fighter 6. I'm just addicted to that game. So those two things.
Okay.
But I want to play some of that game that Jada and you enjoy play, which was that it's not racquetball. It's not that one. It's the pickleball. I wanted to play some of that because you guys made it look so fun.
Pickleball one is incredible. The community is phenomenal. I will say though, after playing Racket Club, it's two different things.
Yeah,
it's two different things. Pickleball is truly the sports. It's like the real pickleball. You know, you're playing it, but then Racket Club, like I said, I can't talk too much about it.
Sure.
But it's both of them are really, really good, and I would play both. We play both. We actually play on the weekends with pickleball with the community, but then with the newer game, we've been playing it since we've got it. So,
nice.
And we played it like, when I say we played Racket Club, we played it like 9 times against each other in the same night. Like we were just going back and forth. So yeah, we've been having a lot of fun, man.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And for myself, I'm just gonna repeat what everyone else is saying. Playing Assassin's Creed, playing a lot of Demio battles, also playing Vampire the Masquerade. So I'm streaming that in Assassin's Creed right now. So 2 stealth games right now. That's really it. Then there's some games I'm playing for myself, just going my personal time. But those are games I've already been playing before, like Last Breakers, for instance. Hey, Call Me Clay.
I did bring this up.
Call Me Clay declared the PCVR is dead. So Clay, explain
First
yourself.
off, I didn't declare that anything was dead. I just decided to bring it to this forum to have a discussion. Okay, so here's where this started in my brain space. Mike had popped in the stream and we were talking about
pull me into this.
Some of the games. Oh, totally pulling you into this. Totally pulling you into this.
No,
because you started it. You totally started it.
What? My name's Ben and I ain't there.
Anyway, I've been playing Vertigo. And I've been having a blast. I've been playing a lot of PCVR. So Mike got on my case about spending $1,600 on this PC that I never used. I built it and then never touched it for like a month. So I finally was like, okay, I'm going to start using this for PCVR. And I've re-fallen in love with PCVR. It's been such a really great experience to experience some of the games that were built before my introduction into VR, which was around 2020. And I picked up a game, Wilson's Heart. I talked about it in our last session. And minus a couple of things that showed its age in terms of movement, the game ran and was absolutely beautiful. And that game was from 2017, right? But the question is, we haven't seen sometimes that caliber or that quality since the introduction of the Quest. I understand why. We can talk about that today or whatnot. But it made me wonder, well, we're not really still investing in PCVR. Even when you connect your Quest to your PC, it says your Rift is connected. It's not even an updated version. It's not even acknowledging that the connection is even via Quest. It just says Rift when I connect it to Oculus. And we also discussed how the cross-buy might be going away at some point. So when you put those signals together, is PCVR have some level of time left to be in market? I don't know. And I kind of wanted to bring it up because while I've loved kind of digging in the PCVR closet, is there time left? Is the time ticking? I don't know. Like, do I need to just sever my relationship with it now before I re-fall in love with something that's going to end up dying?
Before I take Marty's chain off and let him attack you, because he's literally like raring to get you. I just got to say this: everything you said was meta specific. I'm
just putting the question out there.
Yeah, everything you said was meta specific. I think as far as meta goes, they're done with PCVR. There is still very much life in that ecosystem, but I think the Rift store, that platform, is going to. I mean, it's already withering and dying a slow death. So
okay. But let's have that. I mean, you could take off the chains. Marty can come after me. But my point is, fine, if it's not prioritized by Meta, and it's prioritized by Valve / Steam to have that level of that marketplace still exists. We're talking about people who are going to get PC VR specific headsets, and is that worth it? knowing that you can get a Quest headset for cheaper and have 2 sets of ecosystems to play around with? I don't know. Marty wants to say something. Go ahead.
There we go. Yes,
Marty.
yes. So
I'm just gonna turn my camera off. I'm just gonna turn my camera off.
A deep soul search these past like 2 months, I would say. So I mean, I announced on Twitter I pre-ordered the big screen Beyond, so I've been in their Discord and stuff like that. And honestly, people are really fiending for like smaller form factor PC VR headsets. So like that's why whenever a Quest headset drops, you will literally see. Now I did the research because the video coming out later this week. You will see a uptick in the amount of players for a lot of like PC VR games, like Ghost of Tabor, VR Chat, Beat Saber. You know, like the main culprits that people buy PCs to play. And so I feel like there's still a need for PC VR. I don't think it's going to die anytime soon because you got hardcore communities who keep coming back to PC VR. You got Flight Sim, Racing Sim, VR Chat. I mean, the Uwu gang, they strong out here, you feel me? And so, I mean, if you want to be a lolly or like a furry with face tracking, full body tracking, you're going to need a PC as of right now. Now, that doesn't mean like within like a year or two, is it going to be probably like full body tracking for Quest, native? You don't know. I mean, probably we can assume, right? But as of right now, they're looking for like, what's the next big PC VR headset that I can put on to dance as a small anime child? I mean, it is what it is.
So you're not wrong. And I think there's 2 parts of this argument, right? The first one is there's the hardware side that you kind of just talked about. And then there's the software side. You mentioned games that all already exist, right? Are people building net new experiences specifically just for PC VR? I know the answer is yes, but is that gonna stay around? Because the profitability isn't quite in PC VR. And that's where the discussion comes, right? The profitability, you want to hit the masses, you got to go with the Quest. Theoretically,
a lot of times what these companies are doing, they're using PC VR as a launch pad. So like Ghost of Tabor, I'm thinking Population One, I can name them. I mean, usually what these companies will do, or these indies will do, they'll start off on PC, build up a community, build up a following, then they'll launch over to the meta store where there obviously is more money. So that does mean that, you know, some of these PC VR game communities are dying, but in terms of being completely dead, I don't think, no.
Pavlov's a great example of that too. Pavlov's a great example of that.
Pavlov, yep. Contractors. A lot of the people playing contractors are on the Quest because, I mean, if you're turning around shooting stuff, it's easy to do it without a wire, just being honest with you. And so, I feel like new software, I feel like we'll get some eventually, but as of right now, I think it's kind of just like in a slump. But as of just straight dying, like it's done. No.
You know, as the only person on here who is not a PC user, but I'm the only one I think that's not really, I don't own a PC. I'm a Mac guy. But I think it's fair to say that PC VR isn't dying, but I would like to get a PC one day to play those high-end games, but I think you have to go in with your eyes wide open, knowing that you're going in for the back catalog, and you shouldn't expect much in future releases. So if you're going knowing that, and you already spent the $1,600 investment, I think you'll be satisfied. But I don't think looking for a robust new library of games is realistic when you follow the money.
Facts.
I completely agree, right? The new library may not exist. Now, there are some developers, like you mentioned, Mike, Unity Farm Dev. He was explicitly and exclusively PC VR right now.
Shout out to Rathan.
Because some people do want to.
Are you watching?
Yep. Want to have and build that very specific experience, which again, I've really appreciated. Playing a game from 2017 that looks better than some of the games I've ever played in VR in the last 4 years, I was blown away that it held up that well. And it was like, wow, can we get more of this? And I'm kind of sad to say I don't really know.
So okay.
Oh, you want to
go ahead, Jay? Go ahead, Jay.
Jay's been let him out his cage too.
I just want to say something. Please look at me on the camera here. Going to point a few times. So I do not believe PCVR is going anywhere. In fact, I think PCVR is evolving. So personally, I believe. I'm about to bring it, brother.
Okay.
So there's a game that just came out on the Quest platform called Dragon Front Rising. It was originally released on in PCVR on the Rift platform. It was a game that a lot of people, I think Palmer Luckey even, it was quoted that he used to play that on the Rift platform way early in the days. And I sat through a whole hour of Sallius Bradley's rant on Quest 3 to listen to his talk, because I do like to digest as much information about different opinions from different folks, especially people who like to break down the technical pieces. He had a quote. He was like, basically, he's like, where Quest 3 is at today power-wise is like a 980, graphics card that could play really good, lower level 2016, 2017 level graphics for PCVR. And so I started to think, I was like, okay, so they're bringing back this game from back in the day into the Quest platform, and you got this huge catalog of these types of games and experiences that were only built for PCVR, could only work on PCVR. Could we begin to see over the next year or two more of those games begin to trickle out? I was just in a playtest earlier today for a game I can't talk about, but the game ran so well. I was listening to the developer talk about like how they are able to, what they're able to do with the Quest 3, and I'm like,
yes,
I'm looking at the graphics in the headset, I'm like, how are y'all able to do this? And it's like, oh yeah, and we're held back, like, if this gets into the Arizona Sunshine piece, but we're held back so much because we still have to keep it for Quest 2, where it's the main population. I mean, go to Amazon, guys, Walmart, this thing is selling out. Quest 2 is selling out. Okay, so we got some new folks joining the metaverse. We got new folks joining VR for the first time. That's right. Hello. Please subscribe to all of our channels. But the main thing here is, I think, is evolving. I think Project Avalanche, we kind of talked about it a little bit the last podcast, where there's a possibility of cloud gaming coming. I think the Rift platform goes away, but then there's this thing of, oh, here's this back catalog of all these games. How are you going to play them if there's no store? Well, subscribe to Quest, this subscription service of some sort, and now you get to play all these old PCVR games, but on your Quest platform without a PC, and now there's this evolution that happens, and we don't no longer have to have a distinction between PCVR and standalone. It's just VR. I think that's where we're heading. I mean, I did just see, though, I just want to say this and I'm done, that there is a game that's specifically only coming off of PCVR right now. It looks like a RPG, fantasy RPG. I can't remember the name of it.
Arcane Age. Arcane Age.
Yes. And it looks it is.
I think it's so.
And so you see that and you go, okay, so, and here's the thing too. You got to think about that too. PSVR 2, PlayStation VR 2 is actually out now, and that's like the new playground for people to really bring the high fidelity graphics as well.
Right.
So when you kind of have both of those going, I think we're just about to begin to see, it's not so much about the PC VR anymore. It's just more just about, and you can't forget Apple. You cannot forget Apple is out there, and they're able to run PlayStation level graphics on the phone. So what can the actual Apple Vision Pro do when it comes out? I can't talk about too many things, but I can say this for sure. There is a lot coming for the Quest platform. There's a lot coming for Apple. There's a lot coming for Samsung and Google, what they're coming for. And so my mindset is we won't need a distinction between PC VR and regular VR. It's just going to be VR. It's just going to be, what do I want to play and what platform do I want to play it on? It's no longer going to matter. We're going to get to the point where you have Xbox, PlayStation, PC. It launches everywhere. So we're going to have Quest, PlayStation, and PC. It's not going to matter. That's not going to matter.
I want to tag on one point to like the end of that. And I ain't gonna lie, and this is just me being honest. I think a lot of PC VR people have to kind of temper their expectations when it comes to like graphics and a lot of these newer games.
I agree.
Because I'm even though I'm not gonna lie, even if I'm a dev, I'm not about to sit here and make like 80 versions of the same game just because you want to want to see Half-Life Alyx again for the like for the third time. It's like I think people have to realize like these devs are already on like tough schedules, tough deadlines. They can only really make one version of the game. No, it's not gonna look like Half-Life Alyx, but I mean it's still a VR game. So there's still a lot of fun games, which may not look like the next hot thing, but they still are great games that they still play. So I think some people have to kind of temper the expectations moving forward. There's not enough resources to do all that.
Mike, you need to bless them with the explanation with the devs. You know, give them a breakdown of how this stuff really works, because I think a lot of times, not this group, but a lot of times people don't really understand
I
how
agree.
development really goes and why you have to specifically tackle a particular area.
Mhm.
So there's this assumption that I'll start with PCVR. There's this assumption that since you're building for PSVR 2, you can just port it over and build it directly in the PCVR build, and it does not work that way. Software development kits are completely different in Sony's ecosystem versus developing for PC. I can't even say that Valve has an SDK for their headset because it's all PC specific. And then at that point, if you're in PCVR, now you're expected to, why doesn't this work with my Rift CV1? You know, and all that crap starts happening. So PCVR in general is very complicated to develop for. And no matter what you do, you're always going to have errors. Marty, I know you've seen tons of Steam reviews where they're like, this doesn't have controller bindings for my Reverb G2. Or, you know, there's so many different factors that go into that it is being multi-platform in itself is difficult, but developing on PC, and that's not just limited to VR, is very, very difficult. All the GPU and CPU and motherboard combinations and all that stuff. And then tack on 15 different headsets on top of that. We're about to get to Beyond. I'm going to bridge it to the XR4 in a minute. There's just so many different variables to factor in there. And a lot of these teams aren't very big. They're 50 people or less.
And
so
they
at
have
that
to
point,
be
you got to
lean
march
because we're protecting as an industry
Absolutely.
the profitability of the space, right? And so we're seeing leaner teams, we're seeing fewer dev resources, and we're expected to do more. And I find it just to be not impossible, but as we all know, the hardware part of this industry is so fragmented, right? Like Vario just announced one today, and Mike, you mentioned how many were released last year, like headsets or something.
I didn't know about Vario, but counting Beyond, which is coming out, I think I counted 12 in the last 12 months.
Talk about fragmentation. Where do you put your energy, right?
Yeah.
Something
I want to
think about.
piggyback on something Dunn said about Project Avalanche, and to counter what I said earlier, I think the key here is cloud changes the whole conversation. I think once the cloud factor is factored in, you can have high-end PC gaming, like Dunn said, on every device. So the platform itself doesn't become, it's not a factor anymore, unless you're talking about building hardware-specific, unique experiences, which is what Meta is also attempting to do, which is what's interesting about what Meta's doing. They're trying to win on both fronts. And I think one company that we're not talking about enough because they've been playing real quiet, I'm very curious to see what Google's going to do in the space again when they come back in, because they're one of the few people with the infrastructure to bring all this stuff together. So yeah, I think we will maybe see high-end PC gaming again, just in the cloud.
And Kim, and let's fix this real quick too. So PCVR, we gotta remember what age we're in VR.
Yeah.
We're in Atari days, okay? We're not in Nintendo came into the home, you know. And so here's the thing: when you go back to that golden age of gaming, Atari's in the living room. Oh my God, I'm playing Pong. The graphics was horrible at home. You go to the arcade for the full-fledged, oh my God, look at this is really great. So did the arcade ever die? I still see arcade games come out right now. Arcades don't die. It's just that sooner or later the consoles begin to catch up. The gameplay begins to catch up. And now we have the arcade to have the experiments like Dance Dance Revolution. And there's different games that come out that can only be done on that set. Yes, you can get a mat at home, but it's not going to be the same as what you experience in the arcade. You know, you still want to get a fight stick to play certain games like Street Fighter, etc. A lot of these games, when you go to Japan, you go to these different places, arcade has never died. So PCVR is still going to be here. It's not going to go anywhere. I just think we have to remember what age we're in. We haven't had our Nintendo moment yet. We haven't had our Sega Genesis moment yet. We haven't had the PlayStation, Xbox. We're still in Atari. Very, very early days. One dominant big player, but believe me when I tell you, the next few years, we're going to begin to see those platforms begin to shape up.
Yeah, you know, I fundamentally, I agree, right? I think there's going to be a future of just VR, and then it will all look really great, right? As we think about the speed at which we're doing the development and the software and the hardware releases, Quest 1 came out in 2019, Quest 2 came out in 2020, Quest 3 in 2023. Like, these cycles aren't that long, right?
Yeah.
And so from the Quest 1 to the Quest 3 was 4 years.
Mhm.
4 years. So give us another 2 or 3 or 4 years. What will it look like?
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
man.
Something to think about.
Qualcomm already said they're working.
So yeah,
on
it's not dead, but like, you know.
Yeah. Qualcomm already said they're working on the XR3 for those new high-end headsets we just talked about. So yeah, the next couple of years is about to be wild for sure. I want to make one more point, then we'll move on. Because Clay, you kind of latched on to like mainstream adoption early in your soliloquy. And I just want to point out that for companies like Big Screen, they don't need millions of sales to make market penetration. They're selling the Big Screen VR for $1,000 without base stations and without controllers. It's just a headset. So
Yes.
if, let's just say, out of the Valve Index upgrade star of people that didn't proceed to just go to Quest, and they've been sitting there staying, I know multiple people like this who have just been waiting for a Valve Index replacement, and that copium, Valve taking a sweet time, so that copium starting to run out, that tank's starting to run out. You know what I'm saying? You can only refill that tank so many times.
Can't give it to everybody.
So let's just do the math. If 100,000 Big Screen Beyonds get sold at $1,000 a piece, that's $100 million in revenue. Now take out R&D and all that stuff. You still just made $100 in revenue off one product. For a company Big Screen size, that's a win. That's a win. And that's going to fund, that's going to allow them to go get investors for bigger projects, get funding for bigger projects, and make something, their next generation. Again, the first generation of most tech is not what the second and third and fourth generations are.
Absolutely.
That's everything from the first Apple Watch to the first iPhone to the Quest 1. So Big Screen Beyond is going to probably most likely going to turn a profit on the Beyond. And then that's with micro OLED already. What's headset 2 look like? What's Beyond 2 look like? If this is a success. So success doesn't mean tens of millions of people bought your product. It can mean you found a market for it and you expanded with your second product. That's perfectly fine. And really, that's how PCVR kind of got its legs. Enthusiasts sold it and then got more people into it.
It makes me more excited about where this is going to head. Yeah, 100%. I'm stoked with where this is going to head. It was just an interesting thought exercise that I had this week. And I was like, let's bring it up with the melanated virtual boys real quick and see what we think.
That's it.
Remix.
That's
Come on,
it.
man. The remix. Come on,
And just go buy your Quest 3 right now. Just what are you doing?
Yeah, right.
What are you doing? Come on.
Marty, I'm going to admire your restraint because I would have unleashed. I would have been spitting fire.
Nobody said it was dead. I'm just saying, think of from a. You're right, to your point, Mike. From a mass market option, like we just talked about, people are still selling out of Quest 2s,
which is
right?
crazy. Yeah,
selling out of Quest 2s. Tell me what the argument is for them for PCVR. It's not there. But to your point, Mike, it's with somebody else. It's with another market. What's how do we plant that seed?
Not every product is for. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say not every product is for you, and I think a lot of people, especially in the VR space, forget that.
Correct.
Just because this is not a product meant for you doesn't mean it doesn't have a place.
100%.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to bridge this into the XR4 from Vario that just got announced today as we record this. We're just going to keep recording. We're not even at half an hour yet.
Oh.
So Vario announced the XR4, which is supposed to be pretty much like human eyesight, fully simulated human eyesight in mixed reality.
They're off by apparently 9 pixels per degree, but.
And they went into Apple's office.
We just don't give it to them.
Yeah, pretty much. And they just walked into Apple's office and said, "Y'all charging $3,500? Hold my beer, hold my beer." $4,000 for the base model, and that's starting. That's before any add-ons or like enterprise or business licenses or anything. Like, do y'all understand how the enterprise and business licenses work for VR headsets? By the way,
no. Okay. Would you explain it,
man?
Sure.
I'd love to.
So, essentially, when you buy a VR headset, if you use it for business, for like product demos or any kind of enterprise or professional relationship, you're supposed to actually buy an enterprise license for that. There's not for most of those, there's not a huge appreciable difference between the business edition and the regular edition. Now that changed a bit. Like Pico, for instance, had the enterprise edition of the Pico 4 that had face tracking and eye tracking. But most of the time you're paying for the license, which basically says, I'm going to use this to make money. Which I'm amazed none of these companies have come after content creators, but I think they realize we too broke and we ain't got money to pay them. So we just spoke about content creators getting paid here in a bit too. But yeah, Clay, you brought it up. So XR4, $4,000. You buying it?
No. Didn't we talk last time? I'm not even buying the Apple one. And if I did want to buy one between the two, it'd be the Apple one just because I'm already in the ecosystem. 100%. and we just got off of a conversation about the non-death of PCVR. I don't see it in my life. I don't see it being additive in my life other than, holy crap, this looks great.
Yeah.
And it's just, I'm out $4,000.
Right.
Yeah, man,
Marty.
that's a lot.
That's
a lot.
Marty, you
Yeah,
are
Marty, come
the
on.
PCVR guy.
Bro,
I'm more interested in your
look,
thoughts than anyone
man.
else here.
Look, I've never been one about, buying new toys, but damn, like $4,000, dog. I was like,
Did
nah.
you see the ad though? They made that thing look so editorial. It was like, this is a fashion shoot with a VR headset.
Oh yeah.
Did y'all?
So on X earlier this week, a developer, his name is Mike Rose, released a new game called Spirit Tea. And I'm just going to read the tweet. I mean, we'll probably show which one of us edits this. We'll put some B-roll over or something so we can actually show it on screen. Well, that's his apology. Here we go. It's time for another Mike Rose stats tweet thread. This time is Spirit Tea launch week stats. We launched Spirit Tea last Monday. It's been one of our biggest launches to date. I'm just going to go over the numbers real quick. $1 million in sales during week one. 150,000 players across PC, Switch, and Game Pass. Profitable on day one. Week one profits are 3 times the development cost. Top seller charts in all regions on Nintendo eShop. He talked about the fact that because Steam is now getting a lot of AAA PC ports of other platforms coming in, it's harder to get to the top of the sales charts on Steam, but they're topping the charts on on Nintendo. So the game's doing very well because people are seeing it in the top sellers Nintendo list and doing very well, and people buying it on Switch. And then it kind of
devolved into an oblivion.
Then it changed. Where's that line? Here we go. Over 100 people. He keeps talking about Game Pass. Sorry, I got there. There we go. A hugely noticeable thing that happened during this launch was that we got absolutely zero YouTube coverage at all. Go search Spirit Tea on YouTube and you'll see that there's just a couple of big videos. Nearly every YouTuber who got back to us wanted money to make a video. He then posted a search results after saying absolutely zero YouTube coverage at all of multiple people covering the game.
Yeah.
Just in the search results right there.
A lot of views, candidly.
He provided his own receipt. Now, to his credit, he did say, you'll see there's just a couple of big videos. He didn't go on to say, now look, I get it. That's just how this works now. YouTubers want you to pay them to cover your games. All right, sure. But I just don't want to do that. It feels weird and icky and disingenuous, and I just can't do it. So I guess our games won't get covered on YouTube anymore. Of course, the fact that we still managed a $1 million launch without any influencer support makes me think, what could we have achieved if I did pay some people? So maybe I'll just be forced. Maybe I'll be forced to it in the future. But God, I just really don't want to. It's so fucking ew.
Those are his words.
Yep. Yeah. In those words. How do y'all think that went over? My man got cooked by multiple people. There were multiple creators who covered his game for free, did not ask for a key, either bought the game or were sent a key and did it. That he just completely disregarded all when he said zero YouTube coverage at all. There were TikTokers who said, I've been uploading clips of your game to hundreds of thousands of views, and that doesn't even register on your radar. So I don't think he misspoke, but I think he did overlook just how much coverage his game had, just because he was probably looking at a few specific channels of people he reached out to. Excuse me. I'm a community manager myself. I've gone through this process. And when you don't hear back from people that you reached out to, it's it's very deflating. But then you start hearing from other content creators. You start seeing videos pop up from people you didn't even talk to. And you're like, oh, the mistake here, well, one of the mistakes here is that he didn't acknowledge the people who were covering this game that he did not directly try to build a relationship with. They were just passionate about the product and wanted to support it. So when you say no YouTube coverage at all, that set off a lot of people. Millions of views on X on these posts right here. So millions of views, hundreds of replies, hundreds of quote tweets. It was rough. So it was pretty rough. Who wants to start? Who wants to start in on this?
Oh man. All right.
Go.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
So
Jay.
what's the core question?
Okay, so his position was that he feels like paying for YouTube coverage is inherently wrong. He didn't say wrong, but that's
wrong,
how it comes
but
off.
he has a distaste for playing.
Yes,
for
he finds it
paying for
distasteful.
YouTube
Great word.
coverage.
He finds it distasteful. So,
Okay.
in the evolution of content creation and influencer marketing, where do you stand on this, Jay?
Let's do this. So we are all not mega channels. I'm going to look straight into my camera and say this. I remember when I was a young YouTuber.
Please put the music under this too, Mike, when this happens. Continue.
Yes. When I was a young YouTuber, I bought every single game, not once, but twice, so that me and my wife could enjoy the content together. When I would buy a head strap, I would buy 2 head straps. When I would buy an accessory, I would buy 2 accessories. When I would do giveaways, I would give them away with my own money. Because I'm a smaller channel. When you're a bigger channel, people send you content. People will pay you to make content. People will say, oh, you need 2, 3, 4. Oh, you need some to give away. You need keys. No problem. Because you're a bigger channel.
Right.
Let me reverse this real quick. If I was a game developer and no one knew who I was, and I make a game and no one knows who I am, I'm going to have to buy and to support and to push my game in as many ways as I possibly can. I'm going to get with some micro content creators, some bigger content creators, some large content creators. I'm going to have me a marketing budget. Now, the bigger I get, let's say a EA, some other publisher, I won't have to necessarily pay you to cover my next Madden, or if I'm 2K, I don't have to pay you to cover the next 2K because that's great content. My game is secured. I've proven myself, and so on and so forth. So let me say this to any developer out there and any content creator out there. There's no point of being entitled. There's no point of being entitled. I think when you're a game developer, there's 2 ways you can look at it. Now, if you have to pay me to cover your game, I don't think anyone specifically says you have to pay for me to make content. But if you want me to make content for something because I'm looking at my schedule, let's say this next 30 days, we're going into December. There might be 15 game launching in that month. I can only do so much, seeing that I have almost 4 jobs I work. So for me to jump you ahead of another game that I'm gotta cover because it's one of the major, let's say Asgard's Wrath 2 is coming out. And I need to spend, that game is 60 hours. So I need to spend some time in there to give my audience a really good understanding of, is this game great? Even though most people who got a Quest 3 is going to get it for free, is it even worth your time downloading and playing it? But you have a new game called Scotch Watch Boogadoo, and you want me to play Scotch Watch Boogadoo, and unfortunately, I'm sorry, Mike. I know that's one of the games you guys are coming out with.
Oh, dang!
No, actually,
you
no,
signed the NDA.
I know.
You
What
signed
happened
the
to the
NDA,
NDA,
man.
bro?
3 pound games is legit. So
We
I'm
love
not
Robin,
gonna
get
play
the
that.
lawyers.
We love
Yeah,
you.
Robin, get the lawyers.
Yes,
Robin,
is
get
the
the lawyers,
coolest.
Robin.
We love Robin.
Don't get me okay.
Shout out to Robin.
But like literally the game, and you're emailing me a date 5 days before the game comes out, and you want content to be made. Well, okay. I'm not going to come right out and say I need you to pay me, but my answer may be, I would like to collaborate with you in some way. What's the time frame? What's your expectation? Can I make a short? Can it be a reel? If not, you want a full on YouTube video over this, and you want me to skip over a line, there may have to be some type of compensation, because now my time is a little bit more costly for me.
Yeah.
On the flip side, I don't think no one is entitled to a game key, just like I don't think any game is entitled to coverage. I think it comes down to, we are in a niche, ladies and gentlemen. We are not at the point to where so much saturation is here to where you could just put your game out and expect it to happen. You know how many games hit App Lab every week? Do you know how many games are in production and beta testing? Like, there's so much going on. If you're in these Discords, I'm Discord out at this point of how so many new games and experiences coming. So my answer, and I'm gonna shut up and enjoy the rest of the fellas to talk about this. My answer is what I put in our private Twitter. I'm always thankful, but I'm
Absolutely.
never entitled. And I think
Yeah.
that goes for content creators as well as for game devs. Sometimes you're going to have to build relationships. I love the way I could take Mike, for instance, reached out and said, hey, we got this new game. We're going to be coming out with, here's some keys. He didn't ask for any expectations of what it was. He just said, hey, here's some keys. Enjoy it. And you know what happens? A few weeks later, I dropped a reel. He's like, oh man, that's great. It's on all my social medias. Thank you so much for covering our game.
That's it.
That's all it takes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're gonna throw the net out and you're gonna get a big, huge a boat full of fish back, and sometimes you're just gonna get a few fish. It's gonna be some good fish though. I'm gonna shut up now.
I can
Yeah,
offer
go
some
ahead.
community manager insight on this just real quick.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd love to hear that.
Your return on investment is pretty low on what you send out, because even if they say
100%.
yes, great, I'll take the keys or whatever, that's not guaranteeing that every creator is going to make a video on it or make it in the timeline that you would like. I personally am sitting on 3 keys that I got months ago that I haven't had time to get through because some of them are longer
That's right.
games and I don't have time to play through them
Preach.
because there's stuff that keeps jumping the line because it's either something I already had an interest in or something that I had an incentive for, or just for any multitude of reasons. You know, I got sick 2 weeks ago, right when I was supposed to release a video, so I pushed that out. I still haven't got it out yet. But I've already been sent keys to give away to the community, which was kind of like the negotiated thing for that. So let's just say I send out 100 keys for a game. I will probably get, let's just say I reached out to 100 creators. Let's say that. I reached out to 100 creators. We're not going to talk about the number of keys because that's dependent on who it is and what they ask for back. So I reached out to 100 creators. I'm probably going to get, if I had a hazard to guess, maybe 15 to 20 back. Of that 15 to 20, maybe 10 make a video. Because some of them are just so besieged in games or other content or stuff that they're doing, or they have real lives too. You know, I reached out to a guy who literally said, I'm about to go get married. I'm not going to be back for a month. I was like, okay, cool. Congratulations. Happy for you. Here are the keys anyway. And whenever you get around to it, I don't care if it's 2 months from now, we love to see, we love just to get your opinion on your feedback on it 2 months from now. If you decide to make content, great. But to Jadon's point, that's relationship building. That is no pressure, no expectations. I would like you to check out this game. And I go through all these channels and watch their content. I don't send it to someone who is a shooter main because we don't make shooters. So I spend a lot of my job is sitting here watching YouTube video after YouTube video, because you can watch one YouTube video on the creator and think you have a feel for them, and you can be completely off. That might have just been just a one-off that they did. So for every creator I finger quote scout, I watch at least 5 pieces of content before I decide if I'm going to send them something. Just reach out to them. And someone reached out to me. But the return on investment is very, very, very low. So to have any expectations that you are just entitled to get this because of who you are or what you are, I don't care how big of a company you are. Like Jadon said, that's just wrong. That's just wrong. So,
but it's also a little bit of a, to Jadon's
Can I just point it, Clay, your camera
finish.
dropped. I just need to point that out.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
There's this camera there for me.
Your camera dropped out for me.
It looks good. I can see it. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe it's just my internet that's being wonky. I'm sorry, Clay. Restart. Go ahead.
No, I was thinking to Jadon's point. I feel like while this individual had a poor choice of words, there is a spirit of real collaboration that's missing on both sides, right? And the relationship building that's missing on both sides, right?
Mm-hmm.
Any content creator is not entitled to a review key, right? Be grateful, be thankful. You're not entitled to it. And any developer is not entitled to just definitive coverage. And to your point, it is probably part of the game of, hey, if I want to jump the line, I will have to pay. And I think that's just naturally how things should go. Mm-hmm. The debate that I had with this tweet was, it felt as though people were saying that he was dismissive of the value of content creators. And in my mind, I was trying to challenge that narrative in saying, maybe it's just his opinion to not pay, and that's okay, right? Is there a problem with him saying, you know what, I just don't want to pay content creators, and then keep it moving? Is that a problem? I don't see that being a problem, because if he doesn't want to pay, cool. He doesn't have to pay. Move on. But I think where he went wrong was, I think it's icky was his words, right?
It was
and I
the
don't think it's
totality
icky.
of it.
Yes, the totality of that entire narrative is where it where it was missed.
It was that right after saying I got 0 YouTube coverage.
Yes,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Which was
Combine
also,
those two, then
which he
that
did
comes
not
off
get 0.
dismissive. That
Mhm.
comes off dismissive.
Yeah.
Sure, you've been pretty quiet. What you got?
I don't have all the answers. I do have a complicated perspective on it, though.
Yeah.
Like everyone has said, I feel like no matter how big you get, you should be thankful for the keys that you get. So let's start
Yep.
there. It is a privilege to get the keys, right? But I also think that the relationship between developer and content creator has always been messy.
Oh,
And
yes.
that goes as far back as when I first got into the gaming industry on the magazine side. It's messy. And I never liked it. I never liked it because it's not to go into too many details, but there is preference. And I've always respected the way Rockstar started handling the press way back with the release of, I want to say it was Red Dead Redemption 1, right? So what they did was, instead of playing the game that everyone does of sending out, early devs to magazines and online sites, they just said, you know what, we're going to, and they stopped going to conferences too. They stopped really going to E3. What they did was they started making very focused, very well-produced internal videos that explained everything comprehensively they wanted the audience to see, right? And they sold the game themselves. And then they released that same video to all the outlets, right? I think that solves the problem of messaging, at least on my end, that there should be a more developer internal focused way to deliver that message instead of relying on content creators. That's part of my problem.
Mhm.
The other side of this is I almost feel like whenever you have a developer that has the responsibility of giving out keys to content creators, I think that might be solvable by going through the publisher, right? Like, I always wondered if you play with I don't want to call it a subscription fee, but if you are a vetted content creator and like I said, you've already been vetted, you pay a nominal fee to be part of some kind of meta program where a limited number of keys are sent to Meta, and then the content creator chooses which game they want to cover, downloads it, and that removes the intimacy of the process between the developer and the consumer. I'd rather see something like that, because I feel like that's the problem. There's a communication problem. There's a confusion there. And I would love to see something like that, where there's a third party and the content creators are responsible for picking what they want, but they're invested because they're paying a monthly fee to stay part of this content creator program. So
you mean something like Lurk It?
Yeah. I was thinking
Something like Lurk It, but like a
is
pay
fancy.
version of Lurk It.
Yeah, I never heard of that. What is that?
Oh, you'll know.
Key site.
See, I'm
Lurk
not
It.
PC. Is that a key site? Yeah,
Yeah,
but
this
it's
key
something
site.
official,
Mhm.
right? So it's early access. I'm
Yeah.
not paying to be part of, a specific game. I'm being part of Meta's program, that I'm a vetted content creator, and I pay a subscription fee that I don't know how it's dispersed, how that goes to the developers or whatever, but I pay a fee to get access to games I get to choose to cover by my discretion. And then I cover the games there. That's fair. And that's fair to the developers, because the developers don't have to give out 20 keys to a specific content creator. I would like to see something like that, because I've always thought the relationship was messy.
Here's where, and to, even that idea in and of itself is a little messy, in that the creators, through this tweet, I've seen some really great, a little bit of an uprising of, hey, like, we are valuable as creators. And so if I'm a creator and I'm paying to be part of a program to get a key, I don't really have to use your key, because I have another guy over here who's going to pay me to review his key, so what would be the advantage of that? To your earlier statement, I don't have an answer either. I think it's all really messy, and it'd be a great way to structure it. And I think what's important to remember on both sides is that, to your point, Mike, the profitability is low, the return on investment is low, right? And so, as a business, forget developer, publisher, as a business, everything I push out, I need to get a better than 1 return on investment in order for it to be worthwhile, right? And so I think it'd be great if creators remembered that. Like that's why I appreciate the key thing happens, is because this person's literally handing out this opportunity cost of about $20 to you for free. Not free. It's actually negative 20, right? I'm losing that dollar. And I'm hoping that you bring me more than $20 back. Right? And that's why the relationship is complex, because I think people forget both sides of it. At the same note, you're right. You know how long it takes? I mean, Mike knows. How long does it take to like put out? All of you all know, actually. How long does it take to put out a full-fledged review video in theory?
Genotype. I'll use Genotype as an example. My first play of Genotype, start to finish, was 8.5 hours.
8 hours.
I recorded every single bit of that.
Right.
And we've all edited videos. Editing 8 hours of gameplay, and you have some markers in your head of like significant stuff you want to pull, but you might not remember what hour that happened in or what point that happened in.
Absolutely.
Especially if you're in VR, you can't stop and make a marker real quick. So
nope.
So you scan
so what we're talking
Genotype review, my Genotype review, which is 6 minutes long, took almost 20 hours total.
Right.
Because I rewatched every single bit of
map that to, let's say, minimum wage, and it's not minimum wage work, mind you, but even minimum wage, that person in theory owes you for your time over $200 to $300. Right? Yeah. So that's where this imbalance comes from on a monetary level, right? I'm this developer, obviously think about R&D, investment time, etc. There's just this imbalance, and no one really understands the value they're receiving or giving away, and that's where the fight happens.
Yeah.
Do I have it solved? No. But here's the problem.
I want to correct one very inaccurate thing that people who aren't YouTubers who don't know. We don't make a lot of money on content. Gaming, the way revenue works on YouTube is that advertisers will pay a higher premium. It's called RPM. It's called RPM, revenue per mil. That's how much you make as a YouTuber. There's cost per mil, which is what advertisers pay. The RPM for gaming is one of the lowest of any content category, because generally the people who are consuming gaming content are younger or not as affluent as people who are watching like investment channels, finance channels, things like that. So the RPM for those channels is somewhere around $20 for every 1,000 views. The average RPM for a gaming channel is somewhere between $2 to $3 for every 1,000 views. And I'm pointing this out because there are a lot of people. There were people in that thread who were saying, "Well, if they make this video get this many views, they're getting this much in ad revenue." And so many people cooked those people. Was like, "No, that's incorrect. That's incorrect. I have not made. Actually, I'm not gonna put my money out there. I'm not gonna put my money out there. By the way, if you want to send me money, my Cash App is
my Cash App.
I was waiting for JDun to say
use Venmo. You can use Venmo.
But no, like this is to Clay's point. There is a very low return on what we do. We 100%. Do this because we're passionate about it and because we care.
I want to add something.
The money's not there.
I want to say this though, which has been beautiful, and I think all of us beginning to see this sprinkled on our own channels. When you do it out of love, out of enjoying it, these publishers are watching. Okay, they see. I got an email today where literally the publisher's like, "Yo, you've made multiple videos about our content. We enjoy watching your content. Yep. We want to partner with you. How can we work with you on this particular campaign?" And I'm like, I've been making content. Never once thought I would even get an email, but they paid attention. I think I said this maybe on the last one, but I was at Connect. And I mentioned that, the publishers of Quantar was like, I remember your video. Your video was great. And, thank you so much for taking the time out to cover our game. And many people covered their game. That's not the problem. Build these relationships. Be authentic. Let me look at the camera again. Look at the camera again. Be authentic. Be genuine in your coverage of what you love. And I promise you, just like all of us have seen this year, last year, the opportunities will come because you simply are doing it because you love it. Game development and things like that. Yes, you want to make a profit. Yes, all of us on YouTube, eventually we want to be successful and be able to provide for our families because of it. But I don't rush to make a video because I'm like, I'm going to get $10 of ad revenue today. No,
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
not. That's not my thought. I'm thinking when I saw the casting 2.0, I immediately jumped in, made a quick little video, say, "Yo,
Yep.
family, VR, this is happening. Go do it. Whether it goes viral or not doesn't matter to me. Yes, I want to be successful, but I also want to make sure that my niche continues to grow." And so that's the reason why we do it, man. Build those relationships, be genuine, and watch those opportunities come.
I have my job
Preach.
because I played a demo for 3 Pound Games. That was the beginning of that relationship. I've worked for them for over a year now.
There you go. I
Relationship
think we
building
just
is
have
it.
to do it
That's it.
do what we love, and the opportunities will show up, and just continue to just not be entitled on both sides, right? Like no one's owed anything to anyone. That's it. No one's owed anything here. So, but I know that's a hard pill to swallow because it takes a lot of work. 16 hours to put together a video that may or may not, especially review videos. Sometimes it's they don't even crack 1,000 views anyway. You know what I mean?
So now y'all got me. I feel led to say this now. I have to talk to every VR publisher out there. Please treat. We have a huge problem in who gets keys, who gets media packages, who gets these things sent out to them early, and it's not a lot of melanated or people of color. I just have to say that I need you guys to get better at showing and giving out to a variety of creators. That's men, that's women, that's different races and creeds, beliefs, and everything. Because it is something that's definitely a problem, and it's something that every time I talk to a publisher, when I see unequalness, I always question it. I say, "Oh, well, I saw they got this, I got this." What was the reason behind that? And it's not even about the different sizes of channels. Sometimes it's just skin color. So I have to say that because it wouldn't be us if I couldn't say at least that. We need to do a better job at that. As a community, there needs to be more opportunities across the board for all of us and not just some of us.
Let me come in defense of the publishers to some extent, right? So I don't make nearly as much content as I used to for various reasons that I won't get into on camera. But at the end of the day, of the gaming industry relationships, I've noticed that VR has been the most receptive. I feel like closed mouths don't get fed. And if you ask, most of the time, the publishers will respond and try to help you, and not help you. I don't want to say that. They will treat you the same as they're treating the big publishers, the big content creators. Because I've gotten keys that I should not have gotten in my channel, super small, but they were cool and they kept those relationships open. They still talk to you. So VR is open that way. I will give it that.
I do love the VR industry for that reason. We're small and mighty, and I love it.
Yeah.
And the only reason why I put that out there is because I know there's good people. I know it's not intentional. I know it's not intentional. Every time I've had this conversation, it's never been intentional. It's just something I want to see that change because we're opening these doors. This podcast is to open the door for more content creators. XR Mixtape is about really showing forth that it's more than just one type of creator out there that's talking about VR, XR devices. So, see this push, see this reason of us sacrificing our evening to have these conversations to know that we really care about this and we have something to give to the community on it as well.
You're right, Sho. Closed mouths don't get fed. We open up the mouth right now. This is it. This is what we're doing.
Right.
Everybody just point at the camera right now.
I got Cash App. I got Venmo. I take Apple Pay.
There we go, baby.
Got a PO
There we
box.
go, baby.
You know what I'm saying?
There we go.
No, it's true. 'Cause we
think
would love to review this stuff, man. I just think because we are so passionate about it, and I know I'm uploading old Twitch VODs, and I know they're not going to get views, but I do it because I want it out there because I just love it. I just love it so much. It's wild.
I'm old. I'll take a post-dated check. I mean, what y'all got? I'm good. Whatever kind of payment you want, I'm good.
My man is still there, and I'm with it.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Speaking of close mouth, Marty, you've been pretty quiet. We'll close out with you. You got anything to say on this?
Yeah, honestly, I feel like it's one of those things where, two things. One, any game that came out within the last 3 months, in any type of game industry right now, everything is swamped. Like last month, if you're a general game, you released with Mario Wonder, Alan Wake, and a bunch of other different games. It's like Spider-Man. You kind of got to compete, my boy. You got to give up some of that cash to get some of that coverage. I mean, it's honestly bigger games that if you're a big content creator, you're thinking, okay, what has the algorithm right now? Obviously, it's going to be like Spider-Man or anything like that. Just being honest. So it's like, I feel like publishers have to be real with themselves. Like, okay, what am I competing against in the gaming space right now? And even like some VR games, like if you're releasing like this week, it's probably Sniper Elite. Next week, Arizona Sunshine. There's a lot of big hitters coming out. So people are going to be less likely to kind of cover your game, even though it sucks. But, most people are chasing the algorithm.
Yeah, I'm dropping my game. I'm dropping my game in like February and March, like the low period. I'm in that dry period.
Yeah, right.
Nothing's coming out. That's why I'm dropping something. All right.
Can I add one more thing to this?
Yeah, go ahead.
This conversation. I do have a great deal of sympathy, or empathy rather, for the developers, right?
I do too.
Yeah, right. There's this one game, and I like calling it out because no one knows what I'm talking about, right? There's a game on Quest called Revria. I don't know if anyone's played it or seen it. It is an amazing app lab game that is so underground. And whenever I talk to people about it, and I've talked to people who I can't mention here, but I'll bring it up about, how you get exposure for things like that, right? Because there's so many games on App Lab. I think it just made it to the Quest, officially out of whatever the pre-App Lab phase was, but now it's in the Quest store. And this guy is on the Discord, just basically begging people, please listen to my demo. Please try my game, right? He's barely making rent. And this game literally is probably the underground Grand Theft Auto, but sci-fi space. And no one cares, right? How do those games get exposure? Because no one's covering it. The industry overlooks it when it's not a big game. And only small channels like, ones that I might do, or the people on this channel, the people here will do, no one cares. And I think there's a lot of sympathy when I hear developers saying, I shouldn't have to pay for this kind of coverage. So, I don't know. It's a complex issue.
You shouldn't have to pay for this kind of coverage. There's ways to get that kind of exposure. Like, even if they didn't want to do creators, there's probably ways to get some exposure for cheap. I think some research is needed, but I also empathize with that because there are a lot of really great hidden gems. In fact, there may be too many. How many are in App Lab just this year added recently?
Yeah.
How many just added in this week?
This week,
I can't even keep up with
App Lab.
Anybody?
App Lab was like 1,500 or 1,600 at the beginning of the year. It's over 2,000.
Right.
Wow.
So we have that many games, and then we have a small industry of players, and App Lab in and of itself is also not it's not right in front and center. So there's this huge barrier to entry to get to that. I'm with you, Sho. It's very difficult to make that happen, and I'll keep thinking about ways for these developers to shine because there's probably some great things in there that we just.
So is that a platform issue more than
Yes.
so than like
It's everywhere issue. It's music. I was in the music business before this. Come on, how many of y'all got a cousin right now that can rap Jay-Z under the table?
Right.
Just being honest, okay? Can
A
rap
real
Jay-Z
talk, I
under
really
the
do.
table right now, but
Literal
no
cousin.
one knows they exist because either TikTok they're not TikTok famous, or they don't have the money to pay a marketing firm, or they can't get signed to a label because they're not willing to do what it would take to get signed to a label, and so they never become the thing. This is the reality of life. It's even if you make an incredible good game, even if you have something that is basically fire, the proof of fire existing on Earth, unless people know it exists, it'll never happen. I mean, you're talking about something it's in every single market. There's millions of lawyers, there's millions of doctors. What made you choose your doctor? What made you choose your lawyer? There's still luck and chance. Sometimes. And I read a book on Angry Birds, Rovio, the publishers of Angry Birds. They made 99 bad games before Angry Birds existed. And Angry Birds was like their last resort type of joke game. In fact, the voices of the birds was the guy, the Mighty Eagle dude. He was the voices of the... I read this whole book and I was just in awe that they were literally... It was just shovelware. You got to think about something like Flappy Bird was never meant to be something huge.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
who was a PewDiePie? Somebody randomly comes across it on an
Yep.
ad, clicks it, and plays it on his stream. And the guy
Blows
made
up.
so much money that he took it off the stores because he didn't want the publicity anymore. I'm
Yeah.
like, I would have kept that dang
Yeah,
rolling.
he's crazy.
Um,
He's crazy.
I would have kept it
Yes,
rolling. But
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. I think you take that same guy in the Discord who's saying, please, aren't we all that person when we started
We
our
are.
channels?
We
Please watch my YouTube
It's
channel.
hard.
I'm
I
still
beg-
that person.
on
What are you talking
two
about?
fronts. I'm that on two fronts. I'm like, please
Well,
play our
it's
game
hard.
and please watch my video. I'm that on two different levels. Man. I am.
Yeah, it's like
So that's what I'm saying. So I think there's a level of grit, there's a level
Yes.
of grind,
Yes.
there's a level of determination that I'm gonna take this, even if it seems like this game is great, I'm gonna keep elevating it, I'm gonna keep making it better. I'm gonna shut up after this, I promise y'all. But being in the music business, this changed my life when I heard this guy who had a very famous song. He got on the radio station and was like, man, we love your song. We about to play this hit. Man, tell us what you think about the song. The guy said, bro, I'm sick and tired of this song. I've been pushing this song for 3 years before y'all even heard it. I said, when I heard that, that changed my whole perspective. My camera died on me.
Oh, there was that.
Look, it was me this time. It was me this time.
Yeah.
But I'm still pointing at the camera, believe it or not. Literally, the reality was that this brother said that he'd been doing this, he been pushing that same song for 3 years. So
Yeah.
for me, I'm like, hey, keep pushing your game and it'll get that coverage eventually.
Absolutely.
Well, to finally add to that, I just feel like you want to see me excited about whatever the next iteration of anything is. Yeah, I get hardware is dope, but to circle back, I want to see better software. I want to see better ground level integration with the software, and I want to see more platform curation, right, from Meta side on pointing people in the right direction, kind of like Apple used to be when they first started, kind of like how Steam was in the beginning. They took the time, because these were for gamers by gamers, to point people in the direction of hidden gems. So going forward, I don't know what that looks like, but I would love to see Meta play more of a role in that.
Everyone knows the game of the year is What's the Bet.
That was last year's game of the year. I can't wait.
Was it really?
What's the bet?
No.
Yeah, what's the bet?
What's the
when's-
bet?
you know, I'm
What's the bet?
gonna point at the camera. I'm gonna point at the camera.
It was
When
not
is What
What
the
the
Bat
Bat.
2? When is What the Bat 2? We need it right now.
It wasn't What the Bat, was it?
Upload VR voted What the Bat
Yeah.
is their game of the year.
Yeah.
It's been a joke all year. It's been a running joke all year.
Mhm.
That's a legitimate thing that
I'm
happened.
doing my research while we're talking about this. Hold on.
Yes.
Dude, look
Funny,
up
man.
2022 Upload VR Game of the Year.
Yes.
It is What the
what
Bat. And
is that? I never played that.
gosh.
What is
they did a
Nobody
podcast where
did.
they explained why.
Yes.
Yeah. No, and
They
don't
did a
say what the
podcast.
bet. I'm sure it's fine, but
I played it. I played the game start to finish. I was
Okay,
at the game,
okay.
And I was like, you don't want me to make this video. And I said in the back, I was like, this game's not for me. You don't want me to make this video.
right.
Okay,
was very
but
nice
For the
about it. He was
VR
very nice about
awards, Moss Book 2 won Game of the Year.
As it should have. It was the best game last year.
Yeah, that was-
I will
that was-
die on
that
that
was
hill. I will die
Okay.
on that hill.
What else was on that list last year?
For the
What's that?
VR award last year was Veil, Tale of Onagoro,
Wow.
Cities,
Whoa,
Galaxy's
wrong.
Edge. This is the VR awards.
Not upload.
That's not the
VR
Jeff Keighley.
awards.
Oh, the
Not
VR awards.
Upload
Okay,
VR.
not the Jeff Keighley awards. Gotcha,
Yeah,
gotcha.
not to upload. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Honestly, it looks like every big game from last year was on this list.
Yeah.
Lone Echo 2, Zenith Last City, I Expect You to Die,
Yeah.
After the Fall. All the heavy
So-
hitters.
No,
Oh,
what's
I can see
what the
myself.
bet? Like, geez.
What the Bat wasn't on this list.
Man, like, they totally missed it.
I
Totally
never
missed
heard of that game. That's
So, in the spirit of keeping it light, to close out on the Game Awards released their annual nominees for, best indie, blah, blah, blah. And there's a best VR AR category. I don't know why AR is in this title. There's never been an AR category game nominated, but okay.
Yeah, was there a game? Okay, well,
No,
continue.
never has been.
Let me
No,
not
never
rage.
has been.
I'm calming down. Calm down, Clay.
Okay. The nominees were Gran Turismo. This is the show hosted by Jeff Keighley, the biggest video game award show there is, by the way.
Yeah.
Nominees are Gran Turismo 7, Horizon Call of the Mountain, Humanity, Resident Evil Village VR Mode, and Synapse.
Mhm.
All of these games are currently PlayStation VR 2. I'm sorry. 4 of these games are PlayStation VR 2 exclusives. Humanity is on PC and PCVR. And 1, 2, 3 of them, I think 4 of them actually. I can't confirm Synapse. but at least 3 of them were funded by Sony. Now, the way this is voted on and collaborated on is there's a whole conglomerate of video game tech outlets and gaming outlets and stuff like that who vote on these games. So that alone kind of tells you how this list came to be, because it's all very Sony specific. But as you can imagine, a lot of the VR community got in an uproar about this, and Vertigo 2 came up a lot. I never at any point expected Vertigo 2 to be nominated for this, because I've never seen a PCVR game get nominated for the Jeff Keighley Awards. That's what I call them, the Jeff Keighley Awards.
Alex, yeah.
You really didn't think Vertigo 2 would make the list?
No.
That's wild to me.
Visibility.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I have to agree.
You expected it to not make the list either?
Horizon versus Vertigo.
Think about the visibility.
Humanity versus Vertigo.
But the thing is, like, PlayStation is like a bigger platform than probably the amount of PCVR users.
It would not shock me if Humanity outsold Vertigo 2.
We all know in our hearts that Vertigo deserves, but it's just it's not enough. Like, it's not enough. What's the word? Push, I guess, in terms of just like industry for that to happen. Especially Sony cutting that check.
It trivializes the awards for me, because in my mind, I've always, in my like very naive world, it's like the Gamer Awards, and this is what I'm told. Okay, this isn't just me raging now. I'm told it's for the gamers. We get to celebrate the accomplishments of game devs and publishers throughout the year. This is the moment we get to celebrate the hard work and the experiences that we've shared. And then all of a sudden you put out a list where it looks like these people never played any other VR games this year. Yeah. It just felt like a slap in the face to me. And I hadn't even played Vertigo 2 yet, but I knew at its core, based on what I saw, that it had that potential, and based on how much it was just raved about, and for it to just not even come close to being on that list blew my mind. And I'm going to be very honest. I don't think my thoughts are fully baked. So everyone's going to get half-baked thoughts here. And they will be mildly flawed, but I'm okay going on this rant that, you know, games like, for example, I have a hard time feeling like Resident Evil 8 deserved to be on that list. And I know that it was a really good VR experience, but it wasn't built for VR. And I know that's subjective, but maybe that's just me being a purist, right? I felt the same thing about Humanity. Maybe I'm just being a purist, where there are slots that were taken away from games that were built from the ground up with VR in mind, and that VR wasn't an afterthought. Is it a criteria for it to be in the Game Awards? No. And that's where my argument fails, right? It's not a requirement. You make it VR and you want to redo it as Resident Evil 4 remake, sure, then it should be considered. But in my heart of hearts, my soul hurts.
Yeah.
So I get it from a sentimentality. Sorry, go ahead, Sho. I know what you're about to say. Go ahead.
No, I was really just going to say, I think you touched on it, Mike, earlier about how the nominees are made, right? I think the conversation that you're having, the issues that you're having about what constitutes a VR game and what doesn't, I think it would be legitimized if the people who are voting on the games were authentic, real, passionate VR outlets, and then they had these discussions, and then this is the list that comes up. At the end of the day, we know what the Game Awards are. No shade. I've worked with Jeff Keighley. I know him. He's great. He cares about the games, but the Game Awards is a combination of profile of visibility, but also, you know, there's marketing involved in that, right? It's a business. So I think VR is such a niche platform that needs lots of visibility. It would have been nice. It would have been great if they had the foresight to just limit the people who nominated those games to just the industry, the VR industry. That would have changed that list a bit. We know who's going to win because, like you said, Sony's the big money. Yeah, but there's no Quest games on there. None. Weird.
That's crazy.
The largest, arguably largest VR platform has not a single game on here.
Yeah, that was weird.
What?
Okay, so I'm gonna slightly counter argument. Okay, sorry, bad.
I'm ready to be corrected.
Sure. From November of last year to October of this year, which is the cutoff for when they do those nominees, what Quest game do you put on that list, and what Quest game do you put on that list? Because a lot of people said no games from Quest, and I'm like, okay, name them. That's always my response to them.
Good point.
And,
good point.
And I'm not saying there aren't any, but so many people are like trying to attack this on a philosophical standpoint. And I'm like, okay, pen to paper, name these games.
All right, bet.
Doing my research. Doing my research. Hold on.
Propagation came out. Didn't what's that game?
Yes.
Yeah,
the Light Brigade.
The Light Brigade.
Breachers.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Ghost of Tabora.
There's a lot.
Come on now.
Ghost of Tabora I struggle with.
Another Fisherman's Tale.
Ghost of Tabora I struggle with specifically because it's still technically early access, and I've never seen the early access game get nominated on the Jeff Keighley Awards ever at any point.
Okay.
And then even outside of the Quest, though, we talked about how PCVR is not dead. Don't at me, it's not dead. What happened to the PCVR games that came out last year?
Yeah.
So that's my beef is that they're.
Yeah, I gotta pause real quick. Robert wants to call me.
Oh, okay.
In fact, I'm just gonna turn my camera off. Y'all keep talking.
Oh, okay, that's fine. You're gonna have to cut out that weird part. But my point is, it just felt one-sided. And here's the thing: I'm not even a PSVR 2 hater. I love my PSVR 2. I'm a PlayStation fan, 100%. If I could buy everything on the PSVR 2, I probably would. But I recognize, though, that if we were to look at holistically everything that was entered, it just feels one-sided. I don't know how many people played Humanity. Maybe a lot, but I don't know any. I don't know a single person. I do know one person who's played Humanity, and they said that it's not even that great in VR. It's better flat.
Yeah. I think one-sided is being kind. I think
I'm being kind.
The impression that I got was it's just dismissive. It felt like there was no real care put into considering anything else other than this came out from Sony this year. This is what's in VR right now. Bet throw it on there. That's what it felt like.
Yeah, it's like you all didn't play. Like I'm playing Vertigo 2 right now, and I'm like, I already see how this can be. This is just the next level of greatness by one guy, right?
That's so crazy. Yeah.
Which is wild to me. I played through the Light Brigade, and it was a simple mechanic, but one of the best roguelikes I know that we debate versus Compound. We'll decide. One of the best roguelikes in VR to come out. And then Propagation Paradise Hotel, again, I'm a huge horror fan, so this was something that was close to me. I loved every single minute of that game, and everything felt so good. I mean, you all know when you get into VR, the game, sometimes the games just feel snappy. They just feel good, and each of those games just felt really good. And it just felt like, to your point, it felt like a slap in the face that not a single one of them was even considered. And I'm like, who do we talk to change that? Because that can't happen again next year. That's absurd.
Yeah.
I would talk to Jeff himself, maybe. I don't know how much power he has
Who
over
got
that,
Jeff's number? Show's got Jeff's number.
Shoot,
Call up my man, Jeff, and say, listen.
Jeff has the best of intentions. He just delegates that to the industry, and the industry doesn't care about VR as a whole. I was looking at Eurogamer. They just did a video a few days ago about what Ian's playing over there, Ian's Corner. He was just talking about how excited he was about the new games he's been playing recently in VR. And there was just this slight feeling I got from the other guys in the podcast of hurry up, just come on, moving along. That's great. I'm glad to hear it, but can we keep it moving? So that's the vibe I get from the rest of the industry that's not in this passionate circle of VR enthusiasts that we see in our little closed circle. So, yeah,
I tell you, it makes me feel crazy that I love it so much. It makes me feel crazy because I try to sell it in, and people are like, why do you love it so much? Yeah, I'm like, you got to put the headset on to see.
You just got to get that headset on. I think we're going to begin to see that change next year. I really do. I think we're just now beginning to get these big budget VR games. I think VR just needs a little bit more time to bake. And I think next year with Apple and so many other people entering the fray of XR spatial computing as that, more general term that people can attach to, I think we're going to begin to see. I think Google and Samsung, being that they're going to be releasing something next year, there's going to be some IP, there's going to be some game. In fact, let's mention Just Dance, which was originally going to be pushed out by Pico. They now are saying that they are working with a new publisher on a new vendor, a new company to push out this game. So we don't know if that's Meta. We don't know if that's possibly Nintendo. We don't know we don't know who it is. So so if that's the case, I think next year we're going to begin to see a lot of these things change. I think Assassin's Creed it got a great review on IGN, which is one of the first times we've seen VR, a VR game get any level of that detail of a review.
That is impressive.
Linus Tech just did a video on the Big Screen Beyond, saying how excited he was about VR again. You're beginning to see something happen. It's like this fire that's beginning, and I think the culture will change the narrative for the Game Awards as we go on. But I feel like we still are just in those early days of that niche. Once again, Atari, early days. Yeah. We're gonna get there.
Yeah, I am proud to be not just doing this with you all, but to be at this part of VR, because I do feel like once it launches, we'll be like, man, I've seen it from the beginning. I appreciate it so much more. It's wild to me that like I bought this new PC and I'm going to 6-year-old games and I'm having a blast, right? This magic has already existed, and I'm just trying to figure out a way to be able to share that magic with everybody else, right? So, anyway, that's my rant. I'll be there on the Game Awards. I know that Mike specifically voted for humanity in protest.
Which one of y'all got out of those games on that list?
I did vote for Call of the Mountain because it was one of my favorite games of the year. Maybe it was just me just feeling all the hype of the PSVR too, but
I'm so sorry. I voted for humanity. I'm playing.
It's okay.
I didn't play any of those games. So, for me, I'm just like, I'm boycotting it. I'm like,
That's fine. That's fine. I mean, I liked Horizon Call of the Mountain. I love the franchise, so it was just right up my alley. Generally, my beef with Resident Evil 8 was that it wasn't built from the ground up, and it felt like when you played the game, I was very much reminded, blatantly so, that it was a port or that it was a mode, right? For example, there's different ways to do cutscenes, right, within VR. This sometimes in Resident Evil 8, completely disregarded. I was like thrown around, didn't know which way I was looking. I had an arm that was over to the left at one point, and I was like, why is my arm over there? Like, it was like, oh, this is just one of those things that I realized you weren't built for VR. You made a VR mode, and it's a pretty good VR mode, but you weren't built for it. Like, I got in a boat once in RE8, and I was like, oh, it's like a motorboat with a little motor behind you. So all you had to do is just hold the handle and move it left and right. Didn't work. How I moved the boat? Just move the thumbstick. It was like, okay, reminded again. You were a flat game that you tried to make VR. Good job, but it wasn't a VR game. So that's my that's where I struggle with it, because then I have to talk about Gran Turismo. Similar story. I never played Gran Turismo, so I can't really, compare. But did you play?
Yeah,
did it ever feel like a?
Turismo, dude.
Did you? Did it ever feel like a port?
It does. It honestly is not even one of the best ports for the PSVR 2. Wow. But I'm not gonna lie, I played Gran Turismo when it first came out. I want to say last year, and I didn't like the game at all. But I played it in VR, and it adds I go back and play just Gran Turismo. It just added so much to it. So I think that's one of my probably highest played PSVR games. Ironically,
yeah. I'm just very upset that you're not playing Grid Legends on Quest. What are you doing? What are you doing?
I'm not a sports guy, so I don't touch any sports or racing games because I've never.
That's the only one I touched. That one and Assetto Corsa. Only two I touched.
Yeah. But I heard
Grid Legends is 50 gigabytes of pure adrenaline.
Is it 50 gigs?
No, it's not. Now, let me say this. Can I say this, though? Okay. They have it sucks because they have actually updated it and it's gotten so much better. like
Yeah.
tremendously better. I even think they added motion controls now too, so you can kind of like act like you're driving a little
Wait,
bit.
it didn't even have motion
Oh.
It
controls?
did not.
It
It
did
came.
not.
It launched bad. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, it launched
bad.
really bad. But yeah, it is much better game now. But the joke of it being almost 40, 50 gigs
Yeah.
on the Quest 2, it's like, what are you doing?
Wait, wasn't like Medal of Honor a large game as well?
Yes, it was.
Yes,
Those
it
were the
was.
2 largest games on the platform. You had to make
Oh my
choices
God.
if you want to keep those things on your system.
So imagine now, this was got me thinking Asgard's Wrath 2, which has been looking so beautiful. How big is this 60+ hour game? Because on the Asgard's Wrath 1 is over 100 gigs
That's
on
a
the
big
PC.
game.
Yeah, but
Uh,
Asgard's Wrath 1 didn't care for space. It was like, look, I just need this thing to look beautiful.
Yes,
Right.
yes. Buy a whole hard drive just for just one game.
So
I've had to delete stuff to get Asgard's Wrath 1 to
Yeah,
run.
Absolutely, absolutely.
What's exciting to me is when I'm seeing devs start caring, like really, like Meta really putting the effort into caring about how they bring these things to the platform, because there is no reason that Assassin's Creed should look as good as it does and be as small as it is on that platform. I can actually put that on my headset with no problems, and it runs great. I have high hopes for Asgard's Wrath. You know
It's those vertical robot dudes. I know that they're sneaking in their red matter
they're
2
right, crazy.
optimization.
Right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right.
I think it's probably gonna be probably less than 100 gigs for sure. Probably like
I think
70
so.
maybe.
I think so.
Less than
Yeah.
70.
Oh
Yeah.
man, I can't wait
So
to
we'll
see,
see.
man.
So how
I'm
did y'all
ready.
feel about Assassin's Creed?
I haven't played yet. I'm waiting for my time to shine. I'm going to do Arizona Sunshine.
How dare
2
you?
first. I know.
How
wow.
dare you? How dare you?
I was gonna do it, but I figured let me switch it up because
One of the
you all.
largest games to hit VR. Period.
Yep.
I
And
missed the
I'm gonna
wave,
hit
too.
it during
I
the
missed the
lull
wave,
period because I can't keep up with the heavyweights on this
I couldn't,
channel
man.
here. I'm gonna go ahead and
Come
play
on,
it
man.
when there's a lull period. Okay, that's
It's
the deal.
pretty dope, sir.
I can't wait. I cannot wait. My community is excited for it. So a little bit about what I've been doing in the VR space on Twitch is that I'm not a full VR streamer on Twitch. All of my content outside of Twitch is VR, but on Twitch I do flat games for 2 days and then VR on Saturdays. And what
That's
I've
smart.
seen is that I'm able to build a community on Twitch through the flat gaming and through the relationships, and then introduce them into VR. So if we're thinking
Love
about
it.
like
Wow.
the conversion funnel, I'm at the very, 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 very top of like, hey, this guy's
Marketing
really cool.
terms.
Right.
That's
right.
it.
Right.
Marketing. The more you
Marketing.
know. So I've actually started to create a small contingent of people in my Discord who are like starting off VR and they need help with like, how do
I
I
love
not
that.
get motion sick? How do
Love
what are the great games to start off with? And we have a small contingent of people there, and I'm hoping to
This
continue
man
to
has
grow
a
that.
built-in SEO tool to tell him what to make.
A
It's
built-in
going-
SEO.
it's
He's like, hey,
going-
what
it's-
tutorial do
telling
you
you-
need?
Yeah, I'm like,
Oh man.
Yeah,
This channel,
right?
gamer tag.
That's you guys have figured it out. Today I pinged
Yeah.
you all on Twitter and I was like, hey, who has a tutorial on this 2.0?
Yeah, I saw that.
And Marty was like, oh, I was like, great, I'll add Marty's to my tweet. That tweet has got like, 15,000 views right now. And Marty's the tag
Wow.
underneath it. It's like, I don't have to do that part, but I can help become the launch pad because I don't have
That's
time
it.
to make the video that Marty did, but I have time to make the
Oh.
thumbnails, So
There you go.
I'm finding my like space, my groove a little bit with the content that I'm putting out. So I'm very, very happy about that.
I'm just thankful there's no bananas.
Oh no,
Thank
they're
you.
coming back. You've officially cemented it as a meme, so don't worry.
Oh man.
No, I was looking
They'll
at that
just be
short
there in
and
the
I saw a
background. I like have a
banana.
banana.
I was like, what the hell?
That is horrible, man. You should just wear a banana suit while you're playing VR.
Fun
it was-
fact, I know this is all probably gonna get cut. Fun fact: I've noticed that like my most popular videos all have bananas in them. So I have like 800.
Why?
I have 800.
What?
I'll tell you, it was weird. I have 800 followers on TikTok. Nothing crazy. I'm trying to get to 1,000 so I can go live.
Yes.
And one of the biggest videos that I've had was a Hitman VR video. And if anybody here has played Hitman VR, it's super poorly optimized. I mean, super glitchy. Touch controls are a little bit jank. I mean, take VR jank and like turn it
Yeah.
up like 16 dials. And there's a part in the video where I reach for this like gun that's on a table and I pick it up and it turns into a banana. It's No,
Man.
actually, it's a banana. I pick up the banana and it turns into a
It's a
gun.
gun.
And so what's weird about it is that I hit a weird cultural moment. You talked about luck earlier, JDun. I hit some weird anime moment with that move, and a lot of people who watch anime, apparently there's a reference to some guy who was hiding a gun inside of a banana. And so I landed like, I don't know, 600 followers from that one video.
See, there you go. All right. I'm putting out banana videos tomorrow,
Put
man.
out the
I'm putting-
banana
videos.
videos. So
Oh, man.
this is great. I love this.
Yes, this was
He
dope.
called me Clay. You can find me anywhere. Link in the bio or wherever this video is being
Yes.
posted.
Yes.
So yeah, that's me. Looking forward to the next chat.
Yes, sir. All right, Marty Dude VR. You can catch me on YouTube, TikTok. Trying to get my IG up. Video later on this week. Well, 2 videos this week.
Come on.
Sniper Elite, and then I have a why PCVR. You know, is not dead.
That's
video.
true.
So we're gonna talk about the state of PCVR. I got
I'd
a
love
lot
it.
of evidence and a lot of examples. So we're gonna
Love
talk about it. Yes, sir.
All
Yeah.
right.
Sho
Well-
Futuristic. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead, bro.
Sho Futuristic coming up on YouTube. Slow on content, but it's starting to ramp back up again.
Love
So
it.
this week you'll see more content, but you can find me on YouTube and Twitter.
Awesome, man. It's your boy Jay Dunn. You can find me at JDunRRP on all social medias. And of course, Getting Things Done, YouTube channel with my lovely wife, Joy Rain. We'll be dropping some really cool episodes of Get Them to the Metaverse very soon with a very special guest we're going to be having on soon. Can't reveal that just yet. But just stay tuned because we've got a lot of more content coming soon. And of course, make sure you subscribe to XR Mixtape
Yes.
and everywhere you see this content.
Right.
And if you
Right.
are a content creator out there, you are a developer out there, a person of color, those who may not have had opportunities from every other angle, please contact us. Get in touch with us.
100%.
Vario, get in touch with us. HTC, get in touch with us. Every single vendor, get in touch with us. And
My
holla
Cash App
you.
is.
My Cash App is. And, you know, I'm going to do my live open mic. Hey, you can find me in my Cash App and my Venmo as well. Yes, but no, man. You know, 3 Pound Games, community manager there. So if he doesn't, maybe he's gonna add in his own little piece.
Yeah,
here,
he's
but
gonna
he's
do
not.
his own thing.
He's gonna add his own.
He's gonna
Okay,
do his
cool.
own
We're
thing.
good. All
All
right.
right, fellas. Y'all are great.
Peace.
I'm gonna
Peace.
click leave here and we'll
Yes.
catch up on Twitter.
All right,
Have a good
guys.
evening.
All right, bye, G.
Y'all take care.
Peace.
Peace.
All right, boys, I'm back. My bad. Sorry about that. I had to get a work phone call and where y'all done? Where y'all go? This is awkward. So you find me a live open mic on everything, and my Cash App is